What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 42 and we're starting today's episode off on the back of our first trophy of the save. Yep, that dramatic Europa League final victory over Inter where we battled back from a goal down, first in normal time, then in extra time with virtually the final kick of the game and won it on penalties. Unbelievable. So season 4 is here and our budget is... oh my god. No! Yes. Seriously? £184 million. Now, the objectives are to finish in the top 4 just like last season after a 4th place finish, reach the semi-final of the FA Cup, and reach the semi-finals of the Champions League as well. So final 4 for both the FA Cup and the Champions League as well. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I think we've got more chance of reaching the final 4 in the Champions League than we do in the FA Cup, because our record in the FA Cup in this save has been absolutely abysmal. But honestly, when I saw that budget, I was like, that can't be right. That can't be right. Surely, after, like, you know, when you advance a day into the new season, that's when the transfers from last season occur, if you will. As Tyrese Campbell, by the way, his buy clause, What's the word here? Buy permanent clause? I'm missing the word here. The fee, the optional fee was negotiated by Southampton, which means he's off, which means he's off to St Mary's on a permanent deal. But you know when you normally you start a new season off, it takes like a day for all the transfers to go through. So it's on the 2nd when all the transfers go through. I thought if I advance a day, then surely the budget will drop a little bit. No way it's £184 million. But no, it is indeed £184 million. Yeah, I'm as surprised as you are. Honestly, I cannot believe that. And you know, I mean, I'll talk about it in a moment's time. You see Jesse Lingard, I did give him a 1-year extension at the end of last season. I just thought he's a good veteran, man. He's now in his early to mid-30s, and I was pleased to see it as well. This would be his final year regardless. There was no way I'd renew it for another year, but he did say retire come the end of the season, and that's exactly what I wanted. That's the dream scenario there. We get Jesse for one more final year, and then he'll retire after this season. That's what I wanted to see, so I'm glad that has worked out that way. So with several players' deals coming the end of the year, I did decide to give a few contracts out. Dave Bell, coming back from his loan spell at Burnley, I'll try and loan him out again. Bryn James, our goalkeeper, also at the academy, gets a new deal. As does Fred. We love the Brazilian. He's staying for another couple of years. Omar Richards, who is back up to Rodri Brown, is going to stay, as his Brown, of course, as well, on just £10,000 a week. Bargain for our young starting left-back. And, of course, Brennan Johnson is staying as well. 53 grand a week for the captain, who was instrumental in our turnaround over Inter Milan. So for the new season, in terms of transfers, well, we don't really need to sell anyone. Now, I'm going to try and loan out the kids out of the academy who won't get much first-team football here. We don't really need to sell anyone because of how big our budget is in order to raise funds. But Scott McKenna, Scott the Block, went down a couple of times last season with injury. He's now 4th choice centre-half. He's actually his 5th choice centre-half now. He just doesn't get any game time here for the most part. And do you know what? Scott the Block, loyal servant, love the guy to pieces, but I'm going to sell him. Out of contract at the end of the season, I'm going to call time on the former Aberdeen centre-half. Scott McKenna, Scott the Block is going to leave in this summer window. But for new signings with Forest, well, here we go. I looked at my team for the new season. I thought, right, where is our weak spot? Well, there really isn't one, to be fair. Last season, Ivan Toney got the golden boot with 36 goals. Up top, he's totally fine. We always seem to get the goals, but defensively, yeah, you know, at times can be a little bit shaky, but, you know, most of our goals come from either the left-hand side or through the middle. We don't get many goals from the right-hand side, so I was thinking, how about a new inside forward with a left foot on that right side? We signed Lincoln last year, but he went down early with the ACL, so question marks on whether he can be the player we want him to be. Marcus Tavernier, I talked about him, not great for us last season, and really there's no one else to do that role. So I thought, okay, I'm going to splash my cash, 184 mil on the Bayer Leverkusen winger, former PSG man, Moussa. Diaby. 25 years old, 88 rated, and for £100 million, Leverkusen stalled on the initial offer, but then decided to accept it. 2 years left in his contract at the Bayer Arena, but now he's got a 5-year deal at the City ground. Welcome to Nottingham, Moussa Diaby. Buzzing with this because I've never used this guy before. Like, I know all about him, but I've never used him before. Now, there's a lot of interest in real life with Manchester City, and I think for the long-term success for Mahrez, he'd do a really good job on that right side for Manchester City, but in the game, Pep Guardiola, clearly not as much of a fan as he seems to be in real life, available for us to snap up for £100 million, and Diaby is in. He is absolutely rapid, 96 pace, great finish on him, amazing dribbling, 4-star skills as well. There's only one concern with me with Moussa Diaby, and that is the low defensive work rate. And I know you're sitting there thinking, are you serious? But it's true. There really isn't any other concern for me with this guy. He looks absolutely perfect. Rapid, 4-star skills, amazing dribbling, so great at cutting inside. He's got a finish on him too. So I don't see a downside for this guy. I really don't. I'm just nitpicking there with a low defensive work rate, but I'm sure he'll make up for it on the offensive end. So, £100 million fee. Club record transfer smashed. Let's see if he's worth the price tag. And following that, as you'll see here, we had a bid for Ivan Toney from Lille. Obviously turned down as we accepted a loan offer for Jason Bradley and also for Sadler as well. Now, we turned down a bid for Scott McKenna, two actually, one from Venezia and also one from Osasuna as well. I just didn't think they were realistic destinations, and again, even though we're now 4 seasons in, I still want to make sure that where we sell our players is reasonably realistic. Now, yeah, I mean, okay, fair enough. I'm sure there is a chance that McKenna might end up playing in La Liga or the Serie A, or in this case, the Serie B at some point, but I just couldn't see it. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Venice is a really popular destination. We're seeing, Aaron Conley from Brighton went out on loan there this year. There's the young American Busio who's out there as well. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can kind of see the appeal of Venezia for the location, but for the most part, Scott McKenna rocking up at Osasuna, I couldn't see it, so I'm going to wait for an English or Scottish club to put a bid in for him still. Bradley has gone to KA again, Sadler has gone to Sampdoria. I don't mind loaning out our players to European destinations though. I love seeing that as well, when a young player goes out on loan to Europe. I love seeing that. Great way for character building, I feel, and how to help turn the boy to a man quicker. I really feel you learn a lot when you get out of your comfort zone, so that's really cool. I like that a lot. But there was finally a realistic bid for Scott McKenna. Hearts putting in a bid for McKenna, trying to take him back to the Scottish Premier League. I'd love to see that as well. Rocking up at Tynecastle. I guess we'll have to wait and see if it goes through or not. But bid for Reece Oxford came in last year, third choice centre-half from Lazio. He's going nowhere. And a bid for Donny van der Beek. Now, with a minute to go in the Europa League final, he not only saved us to force a shootout, which we won, but also saved his Nottingham Forest career. Had he not done that, I probably would have accepted that bid from Atalanta. As it stands, I don't know. I think I'm going to turn it down. But loan offer for Dave Bell from our local rivals Leicester. I'm okay sending him there, to be fair. We've become a bigger team than Leicester now. We're in the Champions League, so I'm alright loaning Dave Bell to the King Power. And we'll get some first team football there. And it was a loan offer for James from Villarreal too. But I turned that one down, so I didn't think he'd get first team football there. And also another bid for Scott McKenna. Once again turned down. Sadly, he rejected the move for Hearts on wage demands. But Bell does indeed go to Leicester. I didn't mind that, to be fair. You'll remember back in season 1 or season 2, we had a chance to loan him to Leicester, and I turned it down because I didn't want to loan him to the local rival. But now it's a little bit different. Back then, we were kind of the same sort of size, the same kind of caliber of Leicester, if you will. We're now European winners in the Europa League, and we're also in the Champions League, and we're going to be battling for the top 4 again this season, whereas Leicester are at the moment in the save a mid-table team at best. We've kind of eclipsed Leicester, at least for the time being, so I think I'm okay loaning Bell out there. Now, there was a bit for Joe Worrell from Everton. I did say I was thinking about letting him go this season, the club captain, but I am going to keep him, and the reason being is very simple. Well, McKenna is going to go. One of these two was going to go this season, either Scott de Block or the captain Joe Worrell. It just depended on who I decided to let go. In the end, Worrell still has 3 years left on his deal, whereas McKenna only has 1 year left. So I actually thought in the end, whilst I was probably going to sell Worrell at the back end of last season for not getting much game time last year, because McKenna's going to go, I'm not going to sell both in the same window. So I'll keep Joe Worrell, let McKenna go. He's going to go to Brighton. Finally, patience pays off. He's going to a realistic destination there to play under Roberto De Zerbi. But for new signings, my second one of this season, well, yeah, buzzing to see it. First it was Sirigu, then it was Dubravka. We like a veteran goalkeeper as a backup for Dean Henderson. Yes, yes, yes! Getting released by Fulham. Plenty of Premier League experience with Southampton and Spurs. Paulo Gazzaniga, yes, released by Fulham. We're taking him on a free, just as a stand-in for Dean Henderson, of course. Like Dubravka and also Sirigu were in Season 3 and Season 2, as Bryn James does go out on loan, this time to Espanyol. He'll get more first-team football there in Catalonia than he would at Villarreal. But yeah, Gazzaniga is in, and if you're a new viewer to my channel, you won't know about Gazzaniga, but for those that do, I'm sure you'll be pleased to see him back. Oh, yeah, love Paulo Gazzaniga. He is back. And speaking of the likes of Paulo Gazzaniga, Ivan Toney, and all those Docs legends, look forward to Monday night, guys. I've got a new series starting. I think you're going to enjoy it if you're a long-term sub of mine. So, following that, as you'll see, Scott McKenna has indeed gone to Brighton for £6 million. Farewell to Scott the Block. Obviously, solid centre-half, no doubt about it. Back in Season 1, he was a regular, but now we've got Senesi, who we turned down the bid there from Wolves. We've obviously bought in Saliba from, who did we sign Saliba from? Leverkusen last season, the former Arsenal centre-half as well. So, no doubt about it. McKenna now, fifth choice centre-half behind Oxford and Warren as well. It was time to let him go in the final year of his contract. I'm okay getting just a light $6 million to get a salary off the books. So Scott has gone to the South Coast. And for our final signing of today's episode, well, we signed Diaby from Leverkusen. I said I'd never used him before. I'm quite excited to try him out. I've never used this guy before, but I've got to say, I'm very excited about this. Currently at Newcastle United, who last season finished in mid-table. The Croatian moving on from Stade Rennais to St James's Park under Eddie Howe. Good enough to be playing in the Champions League. Well, it seems as though, from what I've read about him after looking him up, a lot of people think this guy is the next Luka Modric. He's the same nationality with the same initials, and all I can say is I hope he's half as good as the Real Madrid midfielder. And as you'll see, I included Lewis O'Brien in this deal with Eddie Howe. He's out of contract come the end of the season. I said, you take the former Terrier, because he's not going to get a new contract. That will soften the transfer fee. And for £51 million plus Lewis O'Brien, Lovro Major. Is that how you pronounce the name? Lovro Major? We'll just call him Lovro. Lovro is coming in, 27 years old, in the prime of his career right now. 85 rated, 5-year deal. And this guy looks absolutely perfect for our 4-2-3-1 as well. We've been changing our formation a bit, quite a bit over the past couple of seasons, but I'm quite settled with the 4-2-3-1 now, and this guy looks absolutely perfect as a playmaker. He's got 4-star skill moves, 3-star weak foot, decent stamina, but the dribbling, the ball control, and the range of passing this guy's got with 86 long pass, 87 short pass. He looks absolutely brilliant for that deep-lying playmaker role alongside Maserati. But to be fair, he can also offer something when going forward as well. And I was just thinking, I guess I could possibly play an attacking mid and drop Curtis Jones down to CM. So I'm not too sure about that, as O'Brien does go to the Magpies. Farewell to Lewis O'Brien. Did me well for the first 3 years, but now he's off to St James's Park as Lovro arrives. Most of our money spent now on Diaby and Lovro, plus Gazza in on a free as our backup goalkeeper. But there's still 25 mil to go. We got 2 weeks to go until the new season starts. And I still think we can improve this team even further. And we might have to if we're going to reach the final four of both the Champions League, the FA Cup, and remain in the top four as well. Oh, what a start to Season 4. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. I enjoyed it. If you hadn't, please like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. And I will see you for the next episode of Career Mode featuring the Super Cup against Barcelona very soon.